Hello and thanks for joining us for Reporters, the programme that brings you the very best stories from our correspondents around the world. Some 4,000 wild horses live on the Danube River Delta in eastern Romania. In recent decades, their population has exploded and many locals say the horses are destroying protected species of plant life. As a result, authorities are now investigating the possibility of a cull. But one man is standing in their way. Our correspondents have been to take a special look at the delicate balance of life on the Danube River Delta.
Free as the air itself and galloping through raw nature, these are some of Europe's last wild horses. Around 4,000 of them live in the Danube River Delta, located in Romania's far east, a swampy region twice as large as Luxembourg. It's a protected nature reserve, home to all kinds of flora and fauna and the delicate balance between them. Stefan Raileanu feels at home here. The veterinarian knows the area like the back of his hand. He's been discovering its myriad canals, virgin forests and marshes since his childhood. And here in the heart of an area closed off to tourists, Stefan is locating, observing and taking a census of wild horses.
Here, stop here. Fane, stop here.
These horses aren't used to human contact. Any approach has to be a careful one.
Follow behind me. We have to make them think we're going somewhere else. Don't look over in their direction. We can't draw their attention to us. They understand our body language, and we have to make them think we're not interested in them.
The vet has his methods of earning acceptance by imitating the creatures.
I try to copy the kind of sounds they make during their mating rituals. That's why the male over there was ready to confront me. I went to kneel down before him so I could get across a message. It was simple. I wanted him to understand that I considered myself inferior to him, and he understood.
Romania didn't always have horses running free. They're the result of recent history. 20 years ago, under the reign of dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, rural inhabitants were unable to feed their animals. Abandoned in the Danube Delta, they multiplied first by hundreds, then thousands, and rediscovered their wild side. Over several years, they've now become the dominant species in the area. But to survive, they'll eat anything and everything in their path. Hundreds of trees have had the bark stripped from their trunks. Still, Stefan Raileanu says there's little cause for alarm.
Nature can balance itself. Kids these days leave for the big city and never return to their villages, while these horses have come back to their origins. This is one of the rare places in Europe where such a phenomenon can still happen.
The horses aren't the Delta's only inhabitants. They share it with local fishermen. With little in the way of resources, these men are living on their wits. Every morning they set out to spend the day fishing. For this small village in the heart of the Danube Delta, horses are a major part of daily life, but the locals are fed up of the damage they've been doing.
Have you seen how they're eating the forest? You went there, right? It's all completely white now. To hell with them.
Life in the Delta, it seems, is just as hard for man as it is for animals. Domesticated horses, now a minority, are worked until they can't handle any more.
You follow me everywhere, you do. If I collect the reeds in the water, how am I going to get them home? On my back? No. The horse has got to do it. Round here, you're not a man unless you have a horse and a boat.
It feels like Vladimir's village is at the end of the world, with just one unsurfaced road. It wasn't even on the map until recently. Horses are often the only means of transportation. The children here even learn to ride without a saddle, like in Mongolia. Even so, horses in the delta pay a steep price for their freedom. Winters are harsh, and the region's human residents survive as they can, using whatever resources nature gives them. Life is harder for the horses. They have to make do with whatever few roots and trees they can unearth from under the snow. Not all of them are successful. Many don't survive. Last winter was particularly brutal, and around half of the delta's wild horses died off. Stefan Railianu says it's not uncommon to find their remains. The vet sees them every day. He's learned to smell them.
I can smell a strange odor. It's the smell of death. We have the wind coming towards us, and there must be a dead horse somewhere around here. And there he is. He died from the winter. The cold killed him.
In fact, the creatures are resistant to the region's bitter cold. It's usually a lack of food that proves to be fatal. Village elders are Stefan's main source of information.
Let's go have a look.
That's how our system works. If there's too much water, it floods the vegetation. The horses can handle the cold, but they have nothing to eat.
So they can resist the cold.
Yeah, but they don't really have a chance.
Okay, I see.
Despite the famine, life still finds a way. The horses reproduce and the herd grows. And that's a problem for the authorities in charge of the Delta Nature Reserve. They believe the situation's starting to look precarious, and some have even floated the idea of a cull.
As soon as these horses manage to establish themselves somewhere, they leave the terrain in a pitiful state. It's like a football pitch where there's been two matches, one after the other in the rain. They're merciless. Areas of plant life are disappearing after taking 50 years to develop.
Stefan Railianu, however, says such claims are baseless. Instead, he says the wild delta horses should be protected. The vet's created a special centre for horses in the suburbs of a town bordering the river delta. He wants to raise the animal's profile with the region's inhabitants, a way of raising support in his struggle to protect the creatures he loves.
For me, really, horses are like a religion. How would you say? You've got it in your bones. You're born and you die with it. My life would be very sad and bitter if I wasn't able to look after these horses.
Stefan travels the length and breadth of the delta. He makes his commute on a hydrofoil. For him, it's a lab under an open sky, a place for him to carry out his research into wild horses. But the Danube Delta is still a unique nature reserve, an area 5,500 kilometers square that regularly sees hosts of birds migrating from Africa and Asia. Man is kept out and prevented from interfering. Gaining access is taking a special glimpse into the kind of nature-rich region otherwise little seen elsewhere. However, with no one handling these horses anymore, they could be on the point of becoming more than just a nuisance. So far, Bucharest has been looking for a solution that'll satisfy both the animal supporters and defenders of the local flora. Local associations would like to use European funding to build a separate reserve for the horses. Not everyone's convinced.
In most cases, these horses are stronger than us, for the simple reason that they know how to defend their liberty.
Here in the depths of the Danube Delta, it could be the wild horses who have a lesson for man. Stefan Raineanu believes he's understood it. Through his desire to protect the last remaining wild horses in Europe, he's defending not just the idea of liberty, but a way of life as well.
Well, that's it for this edition of Reporters. You can watch this story and all our other reports once again on our website. Just go to france24.com. That's france24.com. Until next time, bye-bye.